It's a happy day. It's a happy day. It's a happy day.
Happy, happy.
I'm so delighted.
Happy, happy. I'm so glad. Happy, happy.
I feel merry.
Happy, happy.
Cheerful.
Happy, 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 happy.
And just downright wonderful.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap, clap, clap. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap, clap, clap. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp, stomp, stomp. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp, stomp, stomp. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, clap your hands and stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, clap your hands and stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, just turn yourself around. If you're happy.
Okay, welcome everybody to today's webinar, Preparing Children for Kindergarten and Beyond, Introducing Pre-K 2020. I'm Bruce Lovett, the Vice President of Marketing at Frog Street, and I want to welcome everybody especially to this time. I want to go over a few details before we jump in. So if you have a technology issue, please try to log back into Zoom through the link we provided you. And we will have Q&A at the end of the webinar if we have enough time for it. So please do submit questions in the Zoom chat throughout the webinar, and we'll try to get to those at the end. We'll be on for about an hour, and we will send a replay of this webinar in a day or two afterwards. So you don't need to do anything. We'll automatically send that to you if you registered for the webinar. You'll be muted during the webinar. And I did want to mention we'll have a drawing for a free registration to Splash 2021 in July. It's our annual pre-K early education conference. And I will give that away to one of the registrants at the end of our time together. Also, today we will be talking about our new product, Pre-K 2020. And if you have any interest in learning more about that or talking to somebody at Frog Street about it, please just type contact me in the chat box throughout the webinar, and we will be glad to follow up with you as we get further along. Okay, so let's jump into our agenda for today. So we will talk a little bit about the children that we are teaching in pre-K today. They're called Generation Alpha. And then Jacky will walk us through her California pre-K program and their thoughts on using Frog Street Pre-K 2020. Zoma will then walk through some highlights of the new 2020 curriculum. And as I mentioned, we'll end our webinar with some Q&A and giving away a free registration Splash. So if you don't know Frog Street, I would encourage you to go to our website and look around. Just a few notes on who we are. Again, for those that haven't met us before, we were founded in 1989 by 5 teachers. And shortly thereafter, we did launch the first Splash conference. If you've never heard of Splash, I would encourage you to go to our website and take a look. Before the pandemic, the last one we had in person, and we do plan to have it in person this year as well as virtually, had over 2,000 people and many, many speakers of international acclaim. We offer curriculum and professional learning, serving programs from infant to pre-K children. And as I mentioned, we recently launched our all-new 2020 curriculum pre-K product. So let me introduce our speakers. Zoma is our expert from Frog Street. She has taught for over 10 years in pre-K through third grade, including working with English language learners. She's mentored new teachers and provided district-wide professional learning, as well as developed curriculum. And she's been a consultant for 17 years, including her time here at Frog Street. We also have Jacky Vasquez, who's the Supervisor of Preschool Programs at Castaic Union School District in California. They run both a state-funded and tuition-funded program for preschool kids of children of all types. And like many of us on this call, many of you from programs across the country, she did have to quickly transition from in-person to virtual instruction early in 2020. So let's talk a little bit about what's different about today's children versus the past generations. So first and foremost, they've all experienced a different world due to the COVID pandemic. We'll talk a little bit about that, but I think we're all pretty aware of it. They also will deal with a different future based upon where they are in their generation. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So let's just jump into that for a second. So COVID has had a huge impact on these children and their lives, including economic loss and impact, including job loss by their guardians, parents, housing and food insecurity in some cases. Many of them have experienced either family members or members of friends of the family that have been ill or even in some cases passed away due to COVID. The pandemic has created a good bit of social isolation for many children and their families, and that's clearly impacted their social skill development. And for the children that weren't able to come to school in person, a number of them did not completely finish their learning from the past year. So let's talk a little bit about Generation Alpha. So that's a term coined by sociologist Mark McCrindle, and it applies to children born in 2011 beyond. If you look at this right-hand column here, it talks about some of the things that will be true of Generation Alpha. For example, many of them in the not too distant future will be dealing and driving or not driving in autonomous vehicles. And I find it interesting being around a number of children, including my children's children, I have a grandson, and other children, how comfortable they are with smart speakers as just the fount of information. So they are, if you look out to the right here, you can see some of the things that have been predicted about them. They're tech savvy, even tech dependent, choosing technology over human interaction. I don't know if you've seen this, but I've been out to dinner where I've seen families with young children on their iPads during the entire meal while the parents talk, right? That wouldn't have happened 5 or 10 years ago. In my case, we video chat with my grandson ever since he's been 6 months old. Think back 5 or 10 years, that would not have happened. It's predicted that this generation of children will live longer and work longer and live in a population that's more diverse and better educated. They will learn and work differently. I think the world of remote work, at least partial remote work, will continue and grow. And many of them learn not just formal learning, like academic learning through their K through 12 and college years virtually, but they'll pick up skills for their jobs virtually in many cases as well, and they'll be very used to that. And then finally, it's predicted they will deal, as a result of all this change, with more mental health issues than the generation past. So what's the future of teaching and even today look like for pre-K children, right? So clearly we need to help these children develop the skills to deal with this changing and often challenging world. So that doesn't include just academic and cognitive skills, although those are critical, but also social emotional skills development, problem solving and critical thinking skills, as well as cultural responsiveness. So for teachers, we would have to be aware of that these children will grow up immersed in technology, and that will create the speed of technology change. Partially, just the technology will create change and conflict as a constant in their lives, and they'll be learning new skills and will need to be able to adapt to new circumstances. So with that as a quick precursor, let me pass it over to Jacky to describe a little bit about her program.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here today and share with you guys the success that our programs have had with Frog Street. So we are the Castaic Union School District, and this is our team. We have 3 different school sites with different programs within them, including our special education program. Now, the programs that we have available are very similar to the programs that many of you guys have. We have a state-funded program, which is a program that is free to families, but they must meet the eligibility criteria based on family gross income and family size. We have this program available at 2 locations. Our community program is a tuition-based program, and the tuition is based on the number of days and hours that the children attend. So we have available a full day program for 3.5 hours and a full day program for the 8 hours and a half day for 3.5. And that is available at 2 of our locations. Now, our special ed program, the placement is dependent on the team decision and assessment findings. The hub of our special education program is at our middle school site, along with our community program. Now, as Bruce explained, many of us had to go into crisis teaching, which is what I first named virtual teaching because that's exactly what it felt like. Frog Street made that so easy for us. It was really easy to be able to interact with our students through Zoom, just like we're meeting today. The setup of our virtual learning platform is the students interact daily for about 45 minutes. That is where they incorporate their large group and their small group breakout rooms with teachers and our assistants. Teachers meet with families every Monday to review the week's activities and all of the asynchronous work. Now, all of the asynchronous work are skills that are followed up on from the synchronous work that is done online. Monthly, we do put together materials for the students to have at home to be able to implement the activities and follow along with what the teachers are doing. So as you can see in the picture here, we have our smart board with the setup so that the kids can see what the teacher is doing. And Fanny is in one of the chairs over there. Here are a couple pictures of our virtual classrooms. And this picture is particularly special because this is our inclusive classroom, which means that we have our general ed preschool program with our mild moderate special ed classroom. They met every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and they interacted and engaged online together. They did have the support of 2 teachers and 3 assistants. And here's some more pictures and Fanny following along. I believe this was during our How Families Celebrate activity. Now, Frog Street was implemented, this year was our first year of implementing Frog Street in the middle of a pandemic and the crisis teaching. However, as I mentioned before, and Bruce mentioned as well, that we were afraid of the learning loss. We were afraid that students would fall behind or the new incoming students would not be prepared for kindergarten for the next year. So we were really cautious with how we implemented these activities, and Frog Street, let me tell you guys, made it so easy for us. It is flexible to implement other age appropriate practices as well. It actually complements other practices and other activities. Our favorite component, because as Bruce said, the loss that kids and families have had in the past year has been tremendous. That social emotional development has been crucial to our kids coming back. Conscious discipline provides that. It's practices that are embedded into the daily routine. Now, here are some pictures of our students. That middle picture here, you'll see it was during our animal theme, and the students went outside one day for recess time or playtime and saw the deer out there. So that was really cool how they were able to have that teachable moment and bring it back to the Frog Street curriculum. On the left-hand side, you see the kiddos laying on their bellies. That was a measurement activity in Frog Street as well. And then this picture on the right-hand side, just practicing some fine motor skills in collaboration with a puzzle and one of our staff members. Some more pictures. The middle picture here, they were doing another Frog Street small group activity. We had to get really creative like you guys did in how we were gonna place our students. The left-hand side, we've had some really crazy weather out here in California, and it started to snow one day. So one of our kiddos was really interested by the snow and kind of looking around like, what is happening? So they were able to talk about that during the science component of Frog Street. And for that social emotional development, one of our assistants put on all the PPE gear that she would have to wear when the kids started school. So that was sent out so the kiddos wouldn't be afraid. Now, special education, they have a very special place in our hearts. At the Castaic Union School District, our vision is to have fully inclusive classrooms in our early childhood education programs. Both classrooms at our CMS middle school site have been aligned to all of our other preschool classrooms as well, providing them with new furniture and environmental upgrades to really follow along with the curriculum that we have implemented. The vision that we have had to have inclusive preschool classrooms included the new environmental upgrades and curriculum that was easy to follow for all students, and Frog Street has made that possible. So now that our classrooms have furniture and age-appropriate materials to support their learning in the preschool setting, and it also supports the early childhood environmental rating scale, or the ECHRS, as you guys might know. And this was moving day. It was such a happy, exciting day. It felt like Christmas all over again. And then these are our classrooms. These are our special ed classrooms with all of their new furniture, and Fanny in the corner up at the top middle enjoying the new seat. Now, the environment is super important to the students, and here you see the pictures of kids engaging in activities prompted by questions in the curriculum. The bottom picture here, the child is actually following and mocking what the teacher was doing in large group. Now, as Bruce mentioned, all of our families also experienced great loss, including job loss, loss of family members, and Frog Street really focuses on the importance of family engagement. You'll see Zulma will also go over some of those components and what they mean, but for us, we really took the Frog Street component of the parent engagement one step further. Based off of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we compiled and put together a family wellness outreach. Each family receives a monthly survey to help us identify each need. And as you see the bottom here, some of the basic needs are food, shelter, clothing, that kind of thing. Our family wellness lead reaches out to families to be able to provide the resources that we have available and or any other support that they may need. Now, the conscious discipline, which is the social emotional component of Frog Street, is you'll also see that in further slides. Some of those strategies, the calming strategies, our families have enjoyed these to the max. Our family wellness lead has reached out to families, had some conversations with them, and gave them some of those strategies to be able to help them regulate their emotions. So to see that and to get that feedback that our curriculum is helping not just the students, but the family as a unit really come together and calm themselves is so powerful. And what a great role model for our students to see that at home. Now, some of the strengths that Frog Street brought to CC, our Castaic Early Childhood Education Program, the organization of materials. I know as a teacher, organization is everything. Having boxes everywhere or making sure where are my cards, where are my alphabet cards. Frog Street makes that so easy. All materials are organized and come in these nice boxes where you can keep them all set out. You know exactly where everything is. Now, one thing that Bruce also talked about is the different generations. We have teachers out here teaching from various different generations, which means they require different types of support. Frog Street really accommodates that because we're able to use the online platform for resources and the physical guides as well. So any teacher that feels more comfortable working from the online guides has that capacity, as well as a teacher that wants to take home the teacher guides to teach, that is also available. And it's important that we also provide those resources and those supports for our teachers just as we would our children. They also provide a lot of accommodations and different adaptations for our students, differentiated instruction for our youngest learners, special education students, and also our English language learners. That has really allowed the staff to implement and target those goals for each of those students. The curriculum is flexible for teachers to use. I know that one of the greatest concerns that we had is that their creativity would be lost. Are they going to be, they were asking questions like, are we going to be able to implement our own ideas, our own activities? And yes, the answer is yes. And actually, Frog Street really complements the teacher's creativity and has helped them develop new activities and new ideas that they may not have even thought of if it wasn't for the themes and the suggestions that Frog Street provides. So Frog Street is a really well-rounded program. After studying it and looking at it and piloting it, it really targeted a lot of the needs that, all of the needs that we had for our special education students, our English language learners, and any other student in our classrooms as well. Now, coming up for our preschool classrooms, we are expanding our licensing so that we can become a fully inclusive preschool. We are starting up our drive-through style registration. And as always, we will continue our professional development with Frog Street and any of our new staff. Our special ed staff primarily will be going through some more training with Frog Street as well. One thing that we're super excited about is Kids Club in summer to really target that loss for the kids that will be moving on to kindergarten or TK. We will be having a summer fun program and we will be using the Kids Club curriculum that I know Zilma will talk about. So thank you guys for letting me share my experience with Frog Street. I can almost guarantee that your experience will be just as awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And what I'm going to do now, I want to share the program. So it's time now to take a closer look at Frog Street Pre-K 2020. As I get ready here, welcome to the resources. As you can see, everything that you need is included in the program, from posters, cards, Fanny, our puppet, manipulatives, big books, little books, everything included for you. You're going to find today that as I'm talking to you, you're going to see how the program is so intentional. Intentional in its design, intentional in the instruction, as well as the kinds of supports, everything intentionally created. As we look forward, again, like I mentioned, everything is included. Also, Fanny, and you heard Jacky talked about Fanny, and by the way, Fanny now has a house depicting the different seasons. And take a look, she's a little fashionista. She has different fashions for the different seasons. I'm sure that little boy Jacky probably had Fanny with the little winter outfit on when they saw the snow. And for celebrations, of course, Fanny's there. So let's get started and let's look at the design. So when we look at the design, you're going to find that we provide choices for you. If in your district you teach only in English, our kit comes only in English. If you only teach in Spanish, you have that opportunity to have the Spanish speaking. Now, if you are a teacher that are in a bilingual setting or a dual language setting where you do 90% in one language, 10% in another, or 80-20, or even 50-50, we do include that dual language kit, and you have all resources in both languages. By the way, there are 9 themes in the program. These themes are connected to the content of science and social studies. That's what we use as our vehicle of instruction. instruction. Now, every theme, and if you look at the camera and you look at me, I'm holding one of the teacher's guide. If you take a look at the tabs, we have weeks of instruction. There's going to be 4 of them. So if we do a little bit of multiplication, you're going to find that we have 36 weeks of instruction, which means we take care of you for the whole school year. And beyond that, and if you look at the camera, notice how I'm holding all the different kinds of tools, vocabulary cards, all the tools that are in print. We have them online, and I'm going to share that with you in just a moment, but I have a surprise. And that surprise is that we have an exclusive partnership with ABC Mouse, and you will see right now how that looks like. Come and join me. And I am now moving into the online. Jackie, can you tell me if you can see it? Perfect. Thank you, Jackie. Now notice that when we go into our home page at ABC Mouse, when you, the teacher, click on planning, you see how we are streamlining all the resources within the theme. I'm going to open theme 4 because that's the one I'm going to share with you. And notice that right here for each week, I can assign all the resources that are available to the class, to a group, or to a student. Now, if I go ahead and click on it, you're going to see the types of resources. Everything will be connected to the math and literacy instruction that's going on that week. For instance, we have videos.
Hey there, it's me again, Jessie. I want you to meet somebody who loves to explore, just like me.
Hi everyone, I'm Shauna the Shape Hunter. I love to discover shapes all around me using my special shape.
So right away we know that in math we're going to cover what? Yep, you got it, shapes. You're going to also find that we have electronic books as well connected to the letters that we're introducing. Let's take a look at one of those. Again, directly, intentionally connected to the instruction.
The letter F book.
Zilma, we can't see it.
Fence.
You can't see it?
No.
F.
Let me find out what's going on. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let's continue.
Fence. Field. F. Field.
All right. And then, of course, you are able to teach, and we organize everything for you in one place. So you have everything for that week in a way that is organized all together for your instruction if you want to share with the class. Now, to monitor the children, you're going to be able to click on your students, and you're going to be able to see the work that they have done. Notice how it's color coded, so I'm able to see what activities they have finished, the total activities as well as the minutes they have spent, and also all the assignments that you have assigned to the children, so in the progress as well. So we provide that. Now for the child, excuse me, let me move this out of the way. Here we go. For the children, you're going to find that it's organized this way so the children are able to open the resources in that matter. Now, I mentioned to you that all of our resources that are in print are available also online, so you get a chance to see that as well. Welcome to our platform. Notice that everything is very easy to find, from the teacher's guide, lesson plans, both in a PDF file or Word document, so you can edit them if you need to. You have patterns and resources and patterns. Notice how they are both in a PDF file, so you can download them or print them. And as we move along, you're going to see communication with the families, both in English and Spanish, as well as your books with audio support.
Henry and Harry is written by Tamara Bryant and is illustrated by Jose Ramos. On Monday, Henry went to the park. He played on the swings.
All All right. And then finally, you're going to see that we have music support as well. Now, with the music, take a look at this. You can play it directly from here, or if you want to save it, notice that we have a zip file, and then you can save it and share it in any way, shape, or form. And also the lyrics are right here. But when you play them, let's take a look. You're going to be able to play right here.
Baby shark.
And who doesn't like Baby Shark, right? But notice this Baby Shark is a little jazzy. So notice that we have everything that you need as a teacher right at point of use. And then for those visuals, right? The posters, it's organized by the week, and you can look at posters in a digital form, the vocabulary cards, letter cards, photo cards, and the best part, once you click on it, then you're able to download them, and that means that they're yours forever. So you have that opportunity to have it all. I'm gonna go back to the presentation, and if you don't, can you see them? Can you see the presentation, Jackie? Just let me know with a yes, no, okay. So let me go ahead.
There we go. Yeah, I see it now.
You can see it. Okay, perfect. So let's move on and share with you other great resources. So our design is to get you ready. You heard Jackie about how we provide supports for the teacher, but we let them free to make their own decisions. Take a look at the getting started with the big ideas of what I'm going to be covering that week. You're going to see the opportunities for assessment. Our assessments are called AIM, and you're going to see these are going to be observational opportunities. Along with that, remember that letter that I mentioned to you right here with the digital book, as well as don't forget, the letters are in English and Spanish, but wait, you're going to find 10 other languages that we're going to support for those families that speak other languages. A week at a glance gives a teacher the opportunity to see where they start and where are they going. Notice that our focus will be on social emotional learning. You heard Jackie talk about that. Literacy, math, and STEAM. We're thrilled to share with you that we have a STEAM project with daily STEAM lessons. And of course, our centers that are intentionally connected to the instruction. Of course, we want to get you ready and take a look at the materials list. It's not just a list. You have the visuals of the literature, the cards and posters, and the manipulatives that you're going to be using. And for each one of those centers, you're going to see how we describe and give you all the information so you can have everything said. Reflection questions for you to interact with the children, midweek options to make any changes, and you're going to find, you remember Jackie saying how we support children with special needs. This is an example. That box shows how we can adapt our centers for children with special needs. Now, talking about materials, you see here that it says alphabet arc. It's right here. That arc, as well as the letters, are included. And the letter builders, take a look. If you look at the camera, I'm going to be holding one right here, included with a program for your ABC Center. Now let's look at the instruction, and these are the areas that I want you to focus on: social emotional development, literacy and math, as well as the STEAM projects. Now, I show you already one of those special need adaptations. I want you to take a look of how we provide these call-out boxes for the needs of your children, as well as to build your capacity as teachers. So let's take a look. So let's begin with social emotional development. And with that, you're going to find, again, call outs like this right at point of use to remind you to put conscious discipline in action. We use conscious discipline created by Dr. Becky Bailey. This is our social emotional development. And if you're not aware of it, don't worry, because included with the program is our conscious discipline manual that provides you that background knowledge that you need to understand. Now, remember Jackie talking about breathing? That's part of our Brain Smart Start activity. So we begin with uniting the class. Take a look at the chants. Then we're going to teach the children or practice one of those calm strategies. And that's what Jackie was talking about earlier today. And along with that, we want the children to connect with one another, again, creating activities like this. And finally, they're going to commit to a behavior. That commitment begins today and ends today. And we're going to come back and see how well we did with our commitment. And by the way, this is a child that has been using those Brain Smart Start, those calming strategies throughout the year, and now he's doing it all by himself. But take a look what happens to Jaime halfway through it. Oh no. Now, did you notice how Jaime, he started with a balloon? That's why we have that visual on your PowerPoint. You see the visual of the balloon, but it didn't work. He didn't even do it the 3 times that he's supposed to, but he changed. He changed to the draining. That's another strategy. And notice that he didn't bother anyone in the classroom. That is self-regulation at its best, and that's what we all need to do. Now, moving into literacy, you're going to find that we provide you the support for all the foundational skills that are so critical. I'm going to talk about these 3, and we begin with a morning message sentence. Each sentence, we're going to break it down into 3 parts. We're going to say the sentence to develop phonological awareness. We're going to write the sentence for concepts of print. And we are also going to identify letter sounds, and that's your alphabet knowledge. I want you to notice that we work with 3 letters every single week. And do you see all these materials included with the program? Talking about those materials, take a look at the strategy cards. These are going to give definition to key elements that we're teaching, in this case, in literacy, and also provide teachers with an activity. In Espanol, guess what? We follow the same design. It's all about equity. However, we might use different resources, such as what we have here, which is Sonidos de las Letras posters. This is a poster that does a couple of things. It gives you the scope and sequence of how we work with the letters. Notice how we start with the vowels, then we move to consonants. That's because we're respecting the Spanish language. Spanish, as you know, only has one sound for each vowel. And as a result, we can create syllables faster and, of course, create words. Notice all the manipulatives included with the cards, 186 of those cards. And there's also music and movement. Let's take a look and listen. And you can look at me because I'm going to do some of the movements right now.
Vamos a jugar con el sonido de las letras. Ojo, oh, ojo. Iglú, iglú. Anillo, anillo. Uvas.
So notice how all that music is going to engage the children, the manipulatives, and it's going to make instruction memorable. Let's move into the read-alouds. This is to build vocabulary and comprehension. By the way, we include 2 read-alouds every week, plus we have other stories that we're going to work with as well. Now, when we look at our read-aloud, notice the teacher's guide. I have my teacher guide open, and I'm able to see in the 2-page spread my lessons from the introducing the concept and the book, all the way to how we're going to compare on that last day. Take a look at the following. When I'm reading the book, we're going to provide you with higher order thinking questioning strategies. This is Bloom's taxonomy at its best. Remember, we want to build your capacity. Take a look how we give you suggestions for that cultural responsiveness right when you need it in the instruction. As we move to small group instruction, take a look. Again, same design, but take a look at this box. This box gives you how to differentiate instruction. And Jackie, I know that you find this and your teachers very useful because it tells them how to support and how to challenge all children. This is supporting every single child in the classroom. Y como ven en español, el mismo diseño. Yes, the same design in English and in Spanish. Let's go into math. And with math instruction, a couple of things that are very similar. You see the similarities? Yes, same format. Now, what you're going to notice in math, we move from concrete to abstract. And for you, the teacher, we provide you with a focus. And remember that little video I share with you about Shauna, the shape hunter? Here, this is how we use it for whole group instruction. Then we move into small group instruction so we can truly differentiate and support every child. And let's not forget the support for English learners. Here you see it in the math instruction, as well as building your capacity with a did you know that will enhance your lessons. And finally, don't forget about those graphic organizers available for you on our teacher portal. Language development is so critical for our youngest learners. Just like we have literacy strategy cards, take a look at the language strategy cards, including 9 different strategies that are going to be supporting the children's language. And the best part, these strategies, you can use it whenever is necessary. Along with those for math, yep, you got it. We have strategy cards as well that are focusing on the domains that you will be teaching throughout. Let's move into that exciting STEAM project that I mentioned to you. Yeah, I'm so thrilled to share with you that we include a STEAM project every single week. And what you're going to find is every day we're going to do something different. We're going to introduce a problem. We're going to brainstorm about the problem. Then in the middle of the week, we're going to explore. And what teachers tell me that they really like is how we provide those open-ended questions to guide those exploration. And then finally, we're going to just share what we have found. You see all the resources we need? They are right here. And don't forget, they're going to be available in a digital form. So if you want to project them, just like I am doing here, you have that access as well. And talking about support, take a look at Froggy. Froggy's a robot. He's going to teach children coding as well as directionality, forward, backwards, right and left. Notice how we introduce it for the children to understand what Froggy's there for. And then we're going to have the children engage. And with that, let's take a look at this little boy working or playing with Froggy.
Green button? Where's the green? Yeah, press go. We gotta get back, we gotta watch. Look at it go! 1, 2, 3. Watch it, isn't that so cool? Yeah. What bug did he go to, Owen? Yeah, he did it.
I love it when he goes, he did it. And notice how we're teaching problem solving. How do we get Froggy from where he's at to his food supply? That's exactly what these children are doing as well. So I'm going to finish with intentional supports. And I want to start with the families. I'm going to go ahead and share with you what supports we have for the families. Jackie, can you tell me if you can see it? Perfect, thank you. You're going to find that we have 9 specific activities for the families, including the same intentional cards that we're using in the classroom. We're going to give them to the families, but take a look. We tell them what to say and what to ask. Again, supporting all the instruction. As we move forward, books are included as well. And the books will have a teacher teaching and doing a... Quickly, I'm going to fast forward to get you to where the teacher is introducing the book.
We're going to read a book about families. Family. Families are people who love and take care of each other.
All right. Now, as she's reading the book, take a look of what we can do as well.
Cleaning. Everyone helps to get the work done. Doing laundry, gardening. What do you do to help your family?
So notice also during the reading, she's doing activities as well. And then when we finish the story, guess what? Yep, we're going to do another activity at the end. So let's take a closer look.
Let's play a game. I will ask some questions. If your answer is yes, you will do the action I ask you to do. If your answer is no, you will not do the action. Instead, you will just shake your head no. Before we get started, let's practice. Are you ready? Do you have a brother? Then wiggle your fingers. Did you wiggle your fingers? If you did, I know that you have a brother.
This is meaningful family engagement, teaching families how to support the children at home, intentionally connected to the instruction. By the way, 9 activities every single day of instruction, over 1,500 activities for you to work with. Now let's go back to our presentation, and Jackie, would you do me a favor and tell me thank you? And let's talk about professional development. And I want to finish with you. You heard Bruce talk about how this company was started. They were teachers. Well, I'm thrilled to tell you that because of that, we continue that support, and we can provide interactive implementation. We can make it content specific, provide you coaching and modeling, and you will find on our teacher portal PD videos for you to engage in the instruction. Along with that, you're going to find that we're going to provide as well plans for you of how to implement on that first day, as well as just-in-time follow-ups that we can do in specific topics about the program. And the best part, all of our great professional development team, they have been in the classroom. They have been teachers, educators, experts in early childhood, and understand exactly what are the needs of the children, and of course that you need. I want to finish with why Frog Street. Well,
Hey, Zolma, I don't think we made it back to the presentation.
Oh, you don't see it?
No.
Let me go ahead and share it again. There we go. Can you see it now?
There we go. Great.
Perfect. All right, as I was saying, let's remember why pick Frog Street Pre-K 2020. Why us? Well, because we were very intentional, correct? Intentional in that design, giving you the support you need digitally and in print for you to be successful in the classroom. In the instruction, providing you instruction with whole group, small group, but most importantly, how to support every child in the classroom, and of course the support for that family engagement, as well as for you, the teachers, with our professional development. So now I'm going to turn it to Bruce one more time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Zolma. So it's time for our giveaway of 1 free registration for our annual Splash Conference. And we picked Vanessa Steele from Orlando, Florida. So Vanessa, I will be in touch with you and give you information on how you can take advantage of that registration. So thanks, everybody. We have a couple of minutes left. So I'm going to jump into a couple of questions, one each for Zolma and Jackie. So Zolma, and you can go to the next slide if you want. That just shows people how to get more information. So Zolma, there was a question about ABC Mouse, and there was a little bit of information, but you might want to talk just briefly about what you get with 2020, the first year, including ABC Mouse. Oh, you're on mute?
I was testing you and you passed the test. Yes, I was.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So yes, with Frog Street Pre-K, you will receive the opportunity to have all the resources in print as well as in a digital form. Along with that, you will have access to ABC Mouse for you, the teacher, as well as for the children. And by the way, ABC Mouse can be used, is HTML5, which means you can access, you and the families and the children, from any device, from a computer, a laptop, a tablet, or a smartphone. The only place you can is a flip phone, but I don't think there's too many people with flip phones nowadays. Yeah, so as you can see, yes, you have access to ABC Mouse as well.
So I'm going to do there's a quick follow-up question that came up, and that is somebody mentioned they purchased Frog Street Pre-K a few years ago, not that long ago, 3 years ago. And they were wondering what's different between that version and this version. Now, there's a lot because it's all new. I don't know if there's a few things you can mention, Zolma. And I would suggest, if you have some interest after Zolma speaks, either contact your account executive or would contact me, and we'll get somebody in touch with you to walk you through those differences.
Yes. Very good. So, actually, our Frog Street Pre-K 2020, our new program, is actually completely different than the old one. There's a few things such as conscious discipline is part of it. The morning message, yes, is part of it, but the instruction is different. Many of the stories, if not the majority, over 90%, are going to be brand new. We include now trade books as well. Our math instruction is completely different. The design of the teacher's guide is completely different. Froggy is new, as well as Fanny. This time around, remember, she has a house, and I don't know if you can see the house behind me here, and Fanny has outfits as well. So again, there's a lot of new exciting things with the brand new Frog Street Pre-K 2020.
Thank you, Zelma. Jackie, we talked a lot about what's in 2020. We went through some things, but you've been using it. So maybe you could answer the question, are the materials you need to provide the instruction provided with Pre-K 2020? Maybe you could just comment on that a little bit.
Absolutely. Everything is included. Everything that the teachers need to be able to implement all of the activities and instruction are included. The things that you will find that you'll have to keep replenishing year after year are the small things and things that you'll probably already have in the classroom. For example, crayons, pencils, for some of the science activities, if there are balloons or I believe baking soda, that kind of thing, you'll have to replenish. It doesn't come with it. However, those are things that I wouldn't expect to come because they are ongoing materials and things you would have in the classroom.
Perfect, perfect. Well, I think that is all the questions we had.
There's a question about the age group.
Oh, right, sorry. Yes, thank you, Zelma.
The program designed for. So Mary, the program is designed for pre-K, but because we have those modifications, it can't be used with younger learners, with 3-year-olds. But just know that because this is all we do, we create resources from birth through age 5. We do have a standalone 3-year-old program as well. So again, you can use it because we have the modifications with children with special ed. You heard Jackie talk about it, as well as younger learners that are 3-year-olds. So from 3 to 5, you can use the program.
Thank you. Thank you. A good catch. Thank you, Zelma. So thanks everybody for attending this webinar. As I mentioned, we'll send you a replay of it. You can watch or share with your colleagues. And a special thanks to Jackie and Zelma for participating in the webinar. And with that, we're going to be finished for today. Thanks, everybody.
Goodbye.